Hello everybody, ladies and gentlemen, Vagrant Gaming here. A while ago somebody asked me if I could post some stuff about my tank setup for my utilities. Pardon the mess, I don't put a lot of effort into decorating my stronghold. Let's see here. Yeah, so I don't do anything overly fancy with my utilities, but I just figured I'd go over them real quick and explain why I took them. And hopefully it'll make sense to some of you. And hopefully it'll be helpful to maybe someone else. So, I like being able to move around fairly quickly. As far as getting to an off node that needs defending or getting to someone that needs a guard put on them. So I take battlefield training for that speed perk. Next, I take muzzle augs, which increases the range of ion pulse and tactical surge by 5 meters and the radius of explosive surge by 2 meters. The reason why I take that, I think is this the right one? Yeah. It increases the damage of explosive surge by 15%. In addition, Storm grants 2 charges of static surge, which makes ion pulse and explosive surge deplete no energy cells. So, basically I'll storm up to someone, I'll get 2 charges of static surge, and I can just start spamming explosive surge just to like kind of get everybody's attention. And that way, with this perk, that blast goes further. In addition, my ion pulse goes an extra 5 meters. So, if I remember it right, I think that pushes it to about a 15 meter range for ion pulse. And the reason why I like that is because sometimes, for the melee classes, if I can try to kite around them and stay at about 15 meters, they can't reach me. They can't leap to me because I'm too close, and they can't swing their lightsaber at me because I'm too far. The only trick to that is if you're fighting, I don't remember the name of the tree, but it's the tree for Sentinels and Marauders that uses the Juyo stance. I think it's combat. It's the one that's based around burns or bleeds, depending on which faction you're playing at. Those guys can leap within, I think, 10 meters. So they're the only ones that kiting strategy just won't work on, because they'll just leap at you even though you're standing right next to them. And then you're stuck. So, yeah. But for everybody else, it works pretty good. So I like to keep that one on there. Then I take Iron Will, which reduces the cooldown of Tenacity by 30 seconds and the cooldown of Hold the Line by 5 seconds. The cooldown on Tenacity is nice, but also I like being able to use Hold the Line as often as possible. It's just very helpful. One, because if you're in a hut ball, it's nice to be able to grab the ball and just go. And especially if you get white barred and you pop Hold the Line, there's pretty much no stopping you. So that's a good time to pop on some Queen of Don't Stop Me Now and have yourself a party running the ball over the line. That is also how one of the things that helped when I was trying to set that goal of scoring as many touchdowns as Al Bundy. So, Masterful. Advance the Line. Increases the duration of Hold the Line by 4 seconds. Again, Hold the Line is important to me with how I play this character. Just my play style. I know everybody else might have a different thing that'll work better for them. For example, for some folks that are tanking, they like to use the cooldown on Riot Strike so you can interrupt more often, which is pretty handy if you're trying to just keep a healer busy, or if you're trying to lock down a powerful DPS that has a lot of channels, like maybe a Sorcerer or a Commando. That would probably be handy with them if you're trying to shut down like their Grav Round, Tracer Missile, and the full auto unload combo. Some other folks like to use the Harpoon from 15. Sorry, that just reduces the cooldown. There's another one where it increases the range of your Harpoon. That must be in Heroic. Then there's this one with if you hit someone with your stealth scan, it immobilizes them. That's hit or miss. I tried it for a little while and just I wasn't very good at predicting where they were to hit them with that. This one I usually use if I'm playing a DPS character. You pop your shield and you bounce some damage back at them. Not a ton. But for me, I like to advance the line into like this one, Sonic Rebounder. Sonic Round, which is your AoE taunt, protects all friendly targets in this area of impact, excluding you, granting Sonic Rebounder, which reflects the next direct single target attack back at the attacker. So if there's a bunch of people wailing on one of your healers, that's a good time to use your area taunt. 1, to mitigate the damage, and 2, because of that Sonic Rebounder, which will bounce one of their attacks back at them. It's just a bit more protection. Lastly, in Heroic, Guard Cannon. I really like taking Guard Cannon because if I'm on my way down health-wise, or if I'm just trying to last as long as I can to defend a node, it's not a huge heal, getting those heals from your shoulder rockets, but every little bit can count, especially when, if I can time it right, I'll try to hit my adrenaline rush at the same time I'm firing off those missiles, and altogether that can be a half-decent heal to keep me mobile. Not mobile in as much as keep me standing, so I can either keep them from capping a node, planting a bomb, defusing a bomb, or just keep me up longer to help defend my teammates. And lastly, charge the line. Hold the line increases movement speed by an additional 45% when active. So basically, as you can see, I've taken a lot of perks for hold the line, so I can use it more often, it lasts longer, and I move a lot faster while it's going, which is super handy. If you've ever checked out any of my other videos where I'm playing a tank, say it's a Civil War and I'm on mid, someone calls for help on west, I pop hold the line and I'm gone. Like, I'm just flying on my way to them as fast as I can. Which, between the battlefield training perk and all the other perks I have on hold the line, odds are I'll be able to use it fairly quickly, and I'll be able to get to them as quick as possible. I especially like that setup because it's a popular tactic for, say, operatives and assassins to try to go for the off node, and if that happens, when someone calls for help, there could be one or more stealthers on them, and they don't have a lot of time to react. So the sooner you can get there, the better. It doesn't work for everybody, but this is just personally what works for me. I've been having a lot of fun with this, and I can justify a lot of these perks enough to just set it and forget it like this, so that when I get into a HUD ball, I can really shine, because I just really, really like HUD ball. That's one of my favorite Warzone maps, especially when I'm on Leon here and I'm tanking. I just love it to death. So these are just some, those are the utilities, and this, I can't really do a rotation guide in as much as just give you some tips if you were just starting out and were curious about tanking. I can just show you a couple of priorities real quick. Let's keep my buffs topped off just in case. So, when possible, and I definitely don't backpedal, I'm just doing this because I'm not in combat. Let's say Izar here is a healer. I set a hotkey for my guard, so I can just pop that onto him. And I don't have any other NPCs in here, do I? Not too bad. The other thing I try to do when I can is, like, say your operations frame, which would be on the left side. If I see someone's health dropping down low and they're close enough to me, or I can reach them in a reasonable amount of time, I'll swap my guard. So it's good to have a hotkey for your guard so you can switch it around as needed. That's actually very important. I normally start off combat by using Storm, so we can just pretend I leap to him. So now this guy isn't someone I'm guarding, but he's now a foe. I'll leap up to them, and if I can, if there's a group of them, I'll hit my AoE stun and go for Ion Storm, when possible. When I can, I actually also use Battle Focus, so it'll do a bit more damage. And the other thing is your Riot Gas. Your Riot Gas slows them down and drops accuracy. Sometimes, if there's like a sniper, just snipers. They're the only ones I can think of that have a lot of like light damage attacks. I'll try to drop this as close as I can to a sniper just to help mitigate their damage. Hopefully they'll miss a lot. Or I'll try to hit it in a cluster of enemies just to slow them down. And I try to use that as often as possible. Also, your taunts, obviously, you're going to try to use these on cooldown. When I'm in an arena, what I do sometimes, doesn't always work, is if there's, say, a ranged DPS class that's kind of sticking off to the side, I'll save my Neuro Jolt for him, and then just try to time out the Sonic round for the rest of the group. But, you know, it's more of a priority thing. Obviously, if you see people grouped up, it's on cooldown. It's not a bad time to shoot it off. In addition, with the utilities, like I just talked about a minute ago, if you're able to hit that with some of your teammates within that area, that'll also help them as well because of that Sonic Rebounder. Let's see here. Stock Strike is also very important because I think it's Stock Strike. I'm going to double check. You know what? It's going to take me forever to go through all of these, but yeah, this is the neat one, Pulse Engine. So direct damage attacks have a 50% chance to trigger this, and it finishes the cooldown of Pulse Cannon or Ion Storm and causes your next Pulse Cannon or Ion Storm to deplete no energy cells and twig twice as fast, which is really cool when it goes off because it's normally a... Let's see here. Okay, it normally takes 3 seconds. It takes like 1.5 or something like that. It goes real fast, which is cool. So, when possible, I try to hit that early, because then the cooldown gets refreshed. But my priority is usually to get a stock strike on a DPS as quickly as possible, because that's what will trigger your ion cell, which is a light dot, and it helps to mitigate their damage, because it triggers your ion pulse. Sorry, it triggers your ion cell, pardon me. That's the other thing is, I don't have a hotkey set for it because it doesn't have a cooldown. Your ion pulse is about a 10-meter ranged attack, does elemental damage. Not a ton because, you're a tank. And that will put a bit of a damage debuff on them. So sometimes I'll just try to run around and spread that around just to lower damage. I'm probably forgetting a bunch of stuff, but those are just some of the basics that I try to do. If you're just starting off running a tank and it's like your first couple of war zones, I'd honestly say find your healer, put a guard on him, and stay close to him. Because keeping track of everybody's health and trying to swap your guard might be a little much for you at first, but maybe you're just a natural and it's no big deal. But the thing is to remember, if you have a high priority target on your team you're trying to protect and you put that guard, you gotta stay close. Does it say the range? There's no cooldown, so I don't have a hotkey for it. But I think it's like 15 meters, something like that. Yeah, let's see if it fades. Yeah, I think it's 15. Yeah, because the bubble kind of disappears when I get too far away. So you want to stay as close to them as you can manage. You don't want to get too far away, because if you go out of range, that bubble there, it's not helping them any. What was the other thing? Yeah, taunting off cooldown. That's probably a good place to start. What I like to do is I try to pick targets that I know can deal a lot of damage. Like if I see a sniper, I'll probably put a taunt on them. Where'd it go? There you are, Neural Jolt. I try to focus that one usually if I know someone can do a lot of damage. Let's see here. Yeah, I think by default, it's probably just because of personal preference. Snipers and sorcerers are usually the ones that I'll put that on. If there's none of them around really, then whoever's willing on my healer, I'll try to stick those taunts on them. But it's as you get more practice, you get more comfortable. You'll get the hang of it. The other thing I try to manage is when my health gets low, if there's no one healing me, I try to wait till around 30% or so. I'll hit my reactive shield, and then I'll hit my adrenaline rush, which will give me a little bit of a heal, and then, if possible, I'll start shooting the missiles as well. Those are my last-ditch efforts to stay alive. I try to save them just in case, and also, if I'm guarding a node, I'll sometimes not use my shoulder cannon. I won't even prep it until someone hits me, and then I'll turn it on. Because if they try to sap and cap, you want to have those rockets ready. So, that's just a couple of quick tips. I'm probably forgetting a bunch of stuff, and once I stop recording, I'll be like, oh, right, I forgot something important. But if you're just starting out in tanking, hopefully this will be a couple of things that can help you out and get you started. As far as gear goes, I'm just using the basic Tier 1 set, although I forgot to buy the pants, which is a little embarrassing. And for the implants and earpiece, I focus for shield and absorption, because the way I understand our mechanics will work as far as mitigating damage, we're big on our shield. So, those are the priorities that I picked for gearing out. So, nothing special. I'm not an overly experienced tank. I do okay, but this is mostly just to help people out who are just starting up. And I had a request to talk about the utilities a while ago, and I apologize I forgot to do it until now. So, that's just some tips and tricks for you. Hope it helps, and I'll see you guys around. Thanks for watching.